Hello everyone, it is Sunday night and we are coming to you live inside of Bat City Goblin Professionals to help you wind down your weekend. As always, I'm your host Shannon, aka Small Press Shann, here to tell you about this week's indie and small press new releases. It's not a very big week, but it's a very good week, so we're still going to have lots to talk about. And I'm really excited about all the books you're going to be adding to your pull list at your local comic shop. But if we're going to be winding down our weekend, we of course have to start with wine that we're using to wind down our weekend. So this week, we are drinking Septima Emblema, and it is a Malbec from Argentina, which most Malbecs are Argentinian. So this one's from Mendoza, Argentina, and I'm really excited because they say that they worked really hard to make this a completely clean process wine, which is really cool, and it's got a ton of really great ratings on the back that I'm seeing. So otherwise, I have no idea what it is. Now, normally, you guys see me take my first drink from one of my awesome Wine Down Your Weekend glasses. This week, I have one of the glasses that was made for me by Sammy Maskwell and Jason Wall, our educator of the year last year. But I'm actually not going to take my first drink from a wine glass this week because I have a really cool cup that I want to share. So I'm actually going to slide my wine glass over for later. And I am going to take my first drink of this week's wine from my awesome Goblin Market mug. It's from our friends at Goblin Market up in Chicago. They are a comic shop, but they are actually really focused on manga and manhwa and other incredible, deep Eastern Asian stories. You've got to check them out if you're ever in the Chicago area. They have one of the most beautiful stores, and they're such fantastic staff. And they gave us this for encouraging them when they went on their journey to start the store. And so I'm going to take my first drink as a toast to Goblin Market and their incredible first year. Thank you for sharing this mug with us, River, Don and Dan, and thanks for a great year of Goblin Market. Oh, and that's a nice wine. Oh, that's really clean. They weren't wow. I would smell it, but I can't smell things, but I can taste them. I can kind of smell that there's wine in the cup, but that's about as far as I get.
Whoa. There's no sweetness.
There's no sweetness.
Wow.
Yeah. It's that's why I was this is completely, like they said, it's clean winemaking, minimal intervention, and a sustainable projection, which is really cool that it's all clean. So obviously they're not adding a lot of sugars to it if they're trying not to intervene with the process of the winemaking very much. And you can tell because it's not sugary at all. And it's not a heavy tannin acidic wine either. It's very much just purely clean grapes from the Argentinian flavor that the Malbec grapes always get. This is really good. And it tastes really earthy with my mug. Man, they don't, nobody drinks wine out of mugs, but I actually think this is a really nice way to drink wine. And it's feels like I'm drinking coffee, kind of feel like everybody, I could be in a coffee conversation, but I get to have the joy of having wine and not dying because I can't have coffee. Again, shout out to Goblin Market, and we are going to be drinking this Septima the entire show. You said this is around $10, $11 for the bottle, Matt?
I think so. Maybe 13.
Maybe 13, which is nice because that's a good price for a wine that you can grab for you and your friends. Or just yourself, you don't have to share it. Don't judge. I don't judge you if you don't want to share your wine. Speaking of sharing and wonderful friends, we had a bunch of great things going on at Bat City this week. We had our subscriber party that we try to do at least, try to do them quarterly. They're at least 3 times a year. They're a lot of fun, where subscribers get to come out and hang and meet other subscribers and have fun, just making friends and talking about comics and all of the fun stuff. So getting to know people in their community. So thank you to everybody who came to that this last Friday. We had book club the day before and we read Criminal Number 1, and I think that is the first time everybody was how do I order the trade? I gotta read more of this, which was really, really cool to see everybody just want to keep going. we had comic creation workshops, and the best thing in the world happened because my voice was worse than this yesterday during our first round of comic creation workshops. And a shout out to our student Maria, who is 9, who has done comic creation workshops almost every month since she's been coming here for the last year, and has completely memorized how to do them. So she took over and taught the class yesterday, and I got to be a student for somebody else teaching the class, which was an absolutely beautiful experience. So thanks, Maria. You're probably not watching this because we are drinking wine and it's past your bedtime, but thank you for jumping in, and your grandpa can take the recognition. So thanks, Steve, for bringing Maria and Sophia out to be a part of the workshops and help take over. This week coming up, we've got a couple of things. Thursday is Ladies Non-Binary Nerd Night. Please come out. That starts at 8 p.m. Thursday night after the store closes. It's a ton of fun. Bring, something if you want to contribute to snacks or something, or just come and make some new friends. It's a lot of fun, and that's Ladies Non-Binary Nerd Night on Thursday. And then on Saturday, we have our Story Spelunkers at noon, which is our kids book club. Bring the kids, they get a free book, and they get to have fun doing an activity after we read the story aloud. Other exciting things going on at Bat City. If you didn't know, we've got new shirts. These are awesome. These are our new Bat City X dog face illustration, aka Adrian Prudhomme t-shirts. Adrian designed this. Awesome, hand drew this for, actually, secret story, Adrian hand drew this for Matt and I for Christmas, and we were like, this is dope, can you make a t-shirt version? And here it is. So now you can have a really dope Bat City drawing, and this is featuring kind of like Adrian's interpretation of our mascot Orly, who is a young kid who's ready to go on adventures, and so really cool to see. So if you don't already have the Bat City shirt, grab one of these. They're $20. It's fun, and we obviously love getting to see Adrian's art all over the place. So check that out next time you're in the store. And if you really love Adrian's art, don't forget we always have Dick Tracy Bat City exclusive covers from Mad Cape for Dick Tracy #1 that feature the store and was drawn by Adrian with colors by Austin McKinley, who is also a member of the Bat Fam. So if you want to find out ways that you get to meet Adrian, he will be with us in the next couple of months at the Bradenton Art and Music Festival, April 5th, downtown Bradenton, and of course he will be here on Free Comic Book Day. So you'll definitely get to see Adrian in the next couple of months coming up. All right. I'm going to talk to you about books because who knows how long this is actually going to last. Let's be realistic. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to talk for today, so it works out really well for everybody who has something else on their agenda, because I'm going to talk about these books and not keep you here all night. So we're going to kick it off with Snot Girl, issue 19 from Image Comics and Brian Lee O'Malley. If you've never read Snot Girl and you are like, why do I know the name Brian Lee O'Malley? It's because he is the creator of Scott Pilgrim, which you've probably read or seen if you are in the comic book world. Well, in Snot Girl, we have a girl who is an influencer who is not the best at her day-to-day life, but she has been an influencer. And in the original volumes of Snot Girl, we had some problems with, let's just say murder. And we've kind of moved on to where she's happy in her life and she's living her best trying to live her best life, I should say. She's got a girlfriend recently, and she right now is on vacation with her mom and her sister and her girlfriend, and it is not going very well. She's got, a ghost is kind of helping walk her through all of her problems. But back home, we are learning some secret information from 2 people who are investigating what could have possibly gone on in the past, and they have found Virgil's journals. Then they learned that there's more to it, to this whole story, than murder and mystery. There may be even some people living longer than they should, and some crazy weird things going on. And so they're trying to figure out what's going on, and they have now been doing their own investigation, and the stuff that we uncover in this issue is going to change Snot Girl and the trajectory of the story for a very long time. So you should definitely check out volumes 1, 2, 3 before you jump into this newest volume, but if you haven't checked it out at all yet, you absolutely are going to want to. It's so much fun. Transformers, issue 18 from Image, Skybound, and the Inner John universe, which is our Transformers G.I. Joe crossover world. This issue was so huge that I had a customer come in today with his son, and they bought the issue, and they called me 5 minutes later because the son read it in the car and needed to own his own copy of one of the covers that he thought was cool that he and his dad didn't want to share. So it's such a big issue this week. But if you haven't been reading the story, basically it's been kind of similar to most Transformers things, where the Transformers have ended up on our Earth. The Autobots are trying to do their part to protect the humans. But Optimus is very PTSD war-torn in this story, so it's not actually going as well as it usually does. Meanwhile, the Decepticons are not run by Megatron. They are run by everybody, Shockwave and a couple other people who are trying to, Starscream. They're all trying to like come up as the next leader and take over. And big things have happened because the war, like I said, is not going the way anybody wants it to. And we're starting to see some really big collapses of the Transformers. They're not protecting the humans the way they want. They're not protecting themselves the way they want. And so we're Autobots are losing this battle. But the Decepticons are starting to have their own internal struggles. And in this issue, that comes to a really big head with some big stuff happening in the last half of this issue that I am not going to show you, but I will say some things you've been waiting for in the Transformers world are definitely coming out now. So nobody dropped off, but if you had, now would be the time to get back on. Void Rivals, issue 17, also from Image Comics, Skybound, and Your Energon Universe. This is Robert Kirkman kind of building the world around what they are doing with the Transformers G.I. Joe crossover. So this is about two warring planets who have always been told that they're very different and they need to hate each other and never interact and always be in war. And when two of the pilots from the opposing planets crash land after fighting each other in a dogfight, on a planet, they actually realize that there is no differences between them except for what they've been told, who they've been told the bad guy is. And so now they've been working together to kind of figure out what is actually going on in this reality and what's happening. And we've learned that they are home to Energon. And that they have all of that element that the Transformers need, and that the Mars and Cobra are searching for. And so that's really what's been keeping them apart, is that they've needed this energy to be kept apart. And we learn in this issue exactly why they needed to do that. And I don't want to reveal all the big spoilers in this issue, but if you've been like, when is Void Rivals going to tell us what it has to do with the Transformers G.I. Joe universe for real, this is it. And there are some big repercussions that are going to come out of this next issue for sure, because we have now learned that the way that the humans are spinning the story versus the way the Cybertronians need them to see it is very different. And so we'll see what happens from here, but it's definitely getting big and bold as we enter those like fourth arcs of the story. We've got Meanwhile, volume 15. If you don't know Meanwhile, this actually comes to us from our friends at the Ringling College of Art and Design, specifically our friend Gary Barker, who is in charge of illustration classes at Ringling, who's also the illustrator of the cartoonist behind Garfield comic strips since the 1980s. And every year, Gary's illustration class makes an anthology series, and there have been some incredibly huge comic artists who have come out of this class and this Meanwhile, including people like Phil Noto and Jordi Belair. This volume is the newest one for the new series, the new students, and it's just, each student gets 2 pages to kind of tell their own story. And then at the top of the next page, we get a Meanwhile story that, like, Meanwhile, header that tells us, like, this is going on somewhere else in the world, where another student takes on 2 different things. It's really cool. They all do it in their own art style. They all get to tell their own story. This year's kind of fantasy ones. I'm really excited. I'm going to show you this page because this one on the left is done by a student, Anne, who I'm working with on another project, and she has such a Emma Kubert style that I cannot wait to see where she goes in the future. Her art is so good, and the way she tells her stories, and so I've seen a lot of her portfolio, and it's very good. I'm very proud of her. But yeah, you want to watch these students. They are on the rise, and they are definitely going places. Some of them may not go in the comic direction, but definitely keep your eyes peeled. And these are free. We give them out at the front of the store. You're welcome to grab one. If you don't live near Bat City, you can always reach out to the Ringling College of Art and Design to see how you can get them in your area. All right. I've been so stoked for this moment, and I'm so excited. We've got Geiger number 12 from Image and our Ghost Machine universe, and we introduced recently a new character, Ashley Arden. She is the glowing woman, or the glowing lady, and I've been so excited to spend time with Ashley and get to know her a little bit more, and we finally get to do that in this issue, and I am so excited. She is... So, at this point, Tariq, Geiger, the glowing man, he's lost complete control over his ability to actually control his power, the radiation that flows through him as he wanders this desolate wasteland. And so he's always heard that there was somebody who could control it. So he's heard that was a man. Now he gets here and it's a woman, and she's like, I have the same rods that you use to control your power, but you don't need them if you just learn to control yourself. And so she's kind of been working to teach him to do that. And one of the things that she's told him is, you've got to look inside yourself and find this thing that is causing you to lose control. And what is it about you that, I love this, that you can't put together? This is so great because she takes him to a place where all of these people are terrible. And she's like, you're going to go to this place with me, and you're going to have to use your power to understand how to control, or not use your power and have to control yourself. And he gets so angry and he absolutely can't, and you just see that he unleashes all this power, which is what that bright green page was. The whole time Ashley is painting herself as this she's like, nobody's perfect, nobody's a hero, nobody's good, nobody's bad anymore in this world, but you just have to learn to control it. And we think we're building up this really great hero, but there is something about Ashley that just seems slightly unsettling, and I cannot wait for everybody to read this and see that we are gonna learn the depths of our glowing woman very soon. Speaking of women who are just awesome, we've got Redcoat issue 10, also from Image and the Ghost Machine universe, and our buddy Jeff Johns. This is all about a man named Simon Pure, who always, he always says, is anything but, and he took on the immortality by accident when he stumbled into a room full of the founding fathers trying to give themselves immortality. Now he has it, and he's used it for all of the debauchery that he could, but in his recent days he's actually started using it indirectly and not for any reason of his own to do good in this world. And in this volume, we're kind of seeing him come across a lot of different people from historic times that he's interacting with, and in this issue that just happens to be one Miss Annie Oakley, and so he ends up in a shootout with her just for entertainment purposes, because she's trying to find somebody who can outshoot her. And in the process of it, somebody comes up, some kids come up and start screaming that there's somebody shot their dad and there's all this trouble going on. And she's like, I can help them, but I'm going to need a second shot. And so she takes Simon with her. And one of the things that she learns very quickly is that Simon has a lot of hesitation in him because he doesn't value himself as good, and he doesn't see that he can make a change. And so she's kind of trying to help him pull himself out of that. And try to get him to a world where he can understand that. And we've seen a lot of people in this volume really trying to show Simon, you are making the right choices, so maybe stop seeing yourself as this bad person. And that's going to come into play really big as he comes to meet the Northerner in the upcoming issues, and we see what that really impacts him through. And so I'm really excited. Again, shout out to our friends Jeff Johns and Brian Hitch, who sent the wine for last weekend's Wine Down Your Weekend. It was fantastic. And so is this book. So definitely check it out. Grab that Volume 1 trade paperback that is in stores now and catch up on Redcoat. We've got Space Ghost issue 11 from Dynamite. Dynamite has been bringing back all of the Hanna-Barbera cartoons that you know and love to kind of fill in this cartoon roundup that we have going on right now. And Space Ghost is no exception to that world. We have recently had some problems in the Space Ghost universe, though, because Space Ghost took in 2 kids and their pet monkey and is like, I'm going to protect you from all of the dangers out there. Somebody is after you. I'm the only one that can kind of keep you safe, but I'll also train you. Well, he's kind of having his own PTSD of losing his own family and his kids, and he's worried that these kids are in danger because they are, and that if he trains them, it's going to end badly for them. So he's like, you know what? I'm just going to keep them safe, and I'm kind of going to lock them up on Ghost Planet. Well, they're real mad about that now, and now they know that their future is limited because the Space Spectre showed up last month, whatever, last issue, and is like, you have to, if something bad is coming, and if you don't change your ways, you're not going to survive it. And so they're trying to figure out the best path for the future for them, and he is very mad about it. And so when they choose to kind of act out and leave Space Ghost behind, all of his villains come and attack him, and the only ones that can save him will be the kids, but whether or not they can get there in time and actually save Space Ghost, we're going to find out if this family can hold it together. It's getting really, the odds are, the stakes are getting really high in Space Ghost, so you got to catch up on that one for sure. Witchblade, issue 9 from Image and Top Cow. This is kind of restarting the Witchblade story, still focusing on Sarah, but giving her a little bit more depth and detail than maybe we've seen in a while in her story. So this is about a police officer named Sarah, who is one of the few cops that's not bad, and she is working vice and ends up undercover, just getting kind of controlled by this thing called the Witchblade, this ancient talisman that takes over. And over the last 9 issues, she has been training to use this power, and she's kind of using it mostly to find the person who killed her dad, but she's also like trying to also take down some really seedy, underhanded people from the world. She's recently come across this guy who she thinks may be involved in some big stuff that's going on, and in this issue, when she tracks him down, she notices that there's all these like dark demons around him. We know him as the Darkness from the Top Cow universe. She does not know him at all yet, and so she is trying to kind of take those demons down, and he seems to not know what she's doing and maybe not know that all of those demons are around him, but she opens him up to the fact that his family, who he knows is full of criminals, may also be involved in some trafficking of humans, which is a thing that even he does not want to be involved with. And so she's like, maybe you should talk to your family and figure out who's actually responsible for all the bad things they're doing, because you're going to be implicated in some dark deeds. Meanwhile, she's still trying to figure out what she truly can believe and not believe when she's inside of the Witchblade and out of it, and learn some very real things about the people in her life that she's always thought maybe were corrupt, who may have just been playing the same game she is, and maybe she's been judging them too harshly. So really good story so far from Marguerite Bennett that you should definitely check out. The Moon is Following Us, issue 7 from Image Comics and Daniel Warren Johnson. This is Daniel Warren Johnson and Riley Rossmo working together to tell a really good family story. This is about 2 parents whose daughter has gone into a coma, and they've been trying to figure out how they can bring her back. And in the early issues, we learn that a man has told them that he can help her by taking them into her memories and her like sleep world and kind of fighting their way through that to get her to come back to reality. Well, we've learned since then that they've been double-crossed, and that is not even what they were fighting for, but they were actually fighting to deplete their own health so that it could be stolen from them, and that they were never near saving their daughter. And now they've been joined by their daughter's very own nightmares, who are like, it's our job to scare her into growing into a strong like person who can take care of herself in the future. And so for us, this is the scariest thing she's ever faced, and it's where we come in to show her that she's strong enough to fight, and we're here to help you fight with us to save her. And so now they've teamed up with them, and they are building an army to kind of go after not only the things that are trapping their daughter, but also the things that are trapping themselves, because they're learning a lot of the things that their child is afraid of are the things that they've like kind of forced on her by being afraid of them themselves. And this has become a really beautiful story about just like what parenting is and the impacts we have on the children around us. And take another drink of my wine out of my super sick Goblin Market mug. All right, and then we're going to talk about some Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon, issue 7 from Mad Cave. This one, also, we have hit big reveal week, man. Everything you've been waiting on is happening in these issues, and this is no different. So if you haven't started this, we didn't start with an origin story with Flash Gordon. We kind of just jumped in way in the future on a big adventure, and he woke up in a like prison cell, and he was on this planet, and like him and Ming, who's been his ultimate bad guy, were both at the same prison, and he's been told that he's like the planet killer, and all of the stuff. And he's like, I have no idea what that means. What can I do? And so he used Ming as a way to get out. Ming used him, and then Ming betrayed him, because that's what Ming does, because he's a terrible person. And Flash was recently arrested by a group of people who brought him before their king, who are like, you must suffer for being the planet killer. And he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And they're like, too bad. We want to see you battle to the death, essentially, with the son, the prince. And so he goes into this battle and has to face head on. We get some backstory about his own dad and what his dad kind of taught him about what a parent's love is like, and how you can always trust that a parent, even if you don't trust the way they go about it, like, you have to know that they have their kid's best interest at heart. And Flash kind of uses that to his advantage in this, to not only get himself in a situation where maybe he has more of the high ground, but also to learn what happened to Dale. We are finally going to learn what happened to Dale, and we're going to go into the next issue, and we're going to hopefully find out some more. But we have been waiting to see what happened to the love of Flash's life, and we are finally getting that information coming our way. So if you've been waiting like I have, you need to get on to Flash Gordon 7 and definitely 8 for more info. All right, here it is, one of our favorites, Robot Plus Girl, issue 6 from Keenspot. I'm so excited this is back. Love Robot and Girl. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's such a fantastic story that we have been huge fans of since issue 1. One of Matt and mine's favorite books on the shelf. If you don't know what it's about, this is about a girl who lives in a world where, like, technology is kind of like way past where we are right now. And this little robot, he's kind of feel like he's reached this obsolescence moment, and when they do that, they're supposed to, like, power down, and he's getting, like, picked on and beat up, and this girl who is just super, like, the epitome of kindness finds him and saves him and brings him home. Well, he recently tried to help her by he's helping her get some more money, and the way she wins money is she plays in these tournaments online, and he overnight leveled her up. The problem is, if they find out that you're cheating, they kind of take all your money and kill you or throw you out on the street, and they've come for her, and now she has to prove that she actually did all that herself, and that she can play the game. But when he went out to go get her some food and help her while she was sleeping, he was kidnapped. And now she's woken up and he's gone, and now it's her turn to kind of go out and save him. And so in this issue, we see her trying to hunt him down and see what's happening and see where he might be. And as she discovers him, she learns that he's in a mess of trouble, and she doesn't know if she can save him. And if you doubt that we love this book, at the back of the issues of Robot and Girl, you can always see a quote from me and Matt that talks about how this is one of our favorite books on the shelf and one of the most adorable things right here at the top. Shannon and Matt. So it's always there at the back of Robot and Girl to remind you we love this book, and you should check out all of Mike's awesome work. And then complete opposite end of the spectrum, but still just as good, we've got Babs issue 6 from Ahoy Comics. This is a, like, sword and sorcery like only Ahoy could do it, with all of the, like, crassness of Garth Ennis, but completely satirically parodying sword and sorcery and honestly the world around us right now. So this is about Babs, who is a female barbarian who is the, like, roughest, toughest, tumblest barbarian around, and she's been brought in to help save this village that is being destroyed because some stupid orcs who were like, I don't like people, I don't like diversity, and I want to be in charge of this place, and we should stop letting, like, women have any say-so, and other people teamed up with some really bad people who were like, we can enforce that, and now it's been enforced, and they realize that it doesn't actually benefit them, and they are also in just as much trouble as all of the people who they were forcing into enslavement. And so Babs is like, well, it's up to me to take them out, and I'm probably going to take you out too, or maybe at least help you learn your lesson. And she does it in the most ridiculous way possible. I cannot talk about it on the internet. You have to read it, but also I literally cannot talk about it on the internet. But we see Babs get to attempt to save the day, and how that plays out for her. And hopefully we are going to see some more adventures. If you like Garth Ennis and how gory and violent he can be, and if you like Ahoy for all of the satire that they bring to the world and the great parodies that they create, then you will definitely love Babs, because it's fantastic. And this is the end of Volume 1. Hexiles, Issue 5, from Mad Cave. This is not surprising to say, a horror story from Cullen Bunn. But this is a story of a group of people who are all kind of like in their mid-20s. They've never met each other before, but they're all brought to the same place, which is the funeral of their father. And it turns out they are all secretly related, and nobody ever told them. And it turns out that the reason they've all been brought here is because their father sold all of their souls to the devil. And now they are filled with powers of different kinds, but they all owe their lives to whatever services the Dark Ones once put them in. And they don't agree. They're like, we didn't do that. That's not fair. You shouldn't be allowed to sell other people's souls. We're not going to fall for this. Well, now they've come to this establishment where they're like, this is who the people in charge are. We're going to come here and we're going to tell them that we're not giving them our souls. And so they're staying at this place, and all of them have kind of gone out to get away from the place and clear their heads, except for one who decides she's going to go to the library and do some research. And in that process, she actually discovers a way to communicate with their dad in the afterlife and learn what actually happened and what the true story of their souls are, and what dangers actually lie before them. And they're all going to have to learn to work together against this evil if they want to survive. And we're going to see if they can actually come together and do just that. I have no idea. I doubt that this is over in one issue, though. I feel like they're gonna. I don't know how long it's gonna go. We've got the Return of the Edge, issue 5 from Comicsburg. If you are like needing some classic hero work, but not in the big two, you want a new world of classic kind of like heroes, this is a great way to get yours experience. We've got a team of superheroes who are kind of putting themselves together, and they have a lot of really cool powers, but they also have a lot of really big problems. They seem to not be able to ever really get along or kind of work together the way they need to. And they have this ultimate bad guy who's been after them, and he's kind of getting it together a little bit faster than they are. And as these new villains kind of arrive, they're like, oh, we really need to start like working together to figure out how to fight against them. But also, like, we all know that this big bad guy is after us because he's got all of our information. And so we're seeing them in this issue, we're seeing them kind of take on a battle. And again, they kind of work together, but they kind of struggle just a little bit. And it's kind of going to lead them hopefully in a better direction so that they can save it. Because as this goes even further, I think that this team, if they cannot pull it together, they're not going to be able to stop this bad guy before it's too late. And shout out to our friend Marvin Wynn, who does that book, who's on top of it with marketing. Like, that guy's, he's made some action figures, he's made dope posters, he is all over it. If you follow creators on the internet, follow Marvin Wynn.
They got coffee.
Follow The Edge. They got coffee. Man, this guy, he's on it. You gotta follow Marvin, you gotta follow The Edge, you gotta follow Comicsburg, because you're gonna see a lot of creators coming out of there that you're gonna wanna know. All right, we got String issue 4 from Mad Cave. I did you all a favor, and I didn't make String my pick of the week this week, but just know that you all know that I love String so very much, and you should be reading it. But this is the story of a woman who has the ability to see the strings that connect people in two different ways. One, she can see blue strings that show that somebody slept together and that they've had that kind of relationship. But she can also see black strings, and that shows a murderer and the victim. And she can usually see it before it's even happened. So, of course, she works at the police department. Well, she also gets to work with a lot of gangs and things because of that, too. And she's been doing an investigation on her own in addition to the one she's been doing with the police department. And so in this one, we're actually following her while she goes on her personal investigation to see who killed a mobster's brother. And when she goes into a big biker bar to see if one of the gangs is responsible for it, she has to explain her way out of it with a way that only she can with the strings that she sees. Meanwhile, the whole time, she sees a black string from herself, and she cannot find the person that is going to kill her, assuming that it's not her killing somebody. But she believes somebody's out to kill her. The police are trying to keep her safe. It's not really going very well on any side. She does get to wrap up some loose strings, pun intended, in this issue for some things, but the murder mystery still evades her, and she's still got more work to do. This is fantastic. It's Paul Tobin, so you know the writing is fantastic. You definitely got to check this out and jump in. Revolution 9, number 4, from Mad Cave in our Underworld universe, which is finally going to connect very soon, which is a new a world that they're building out at Mad Cave, filled with like spy action and adventure, crime, cops, spies, all kinds of stuff coming together. And this is the spy faction of that, and it's about a woman who has been raised to be a spy and an assassin, very Red Room-esque, like Black Widow, and she's figured out all of the bad stuff that they're doing and all the stuff that they've done to the members of her family to kind of keep her here, and she doesn't want to be a part of that anymore, so she's taking them all down. She's like, I've got all the information I need to prove that you're the bad guys. I'm going to take it, I'm going to run with it, and I'm going to find a place where I can put this information out and expose you for who you are. So, of course, they're coming after her, but she's their best one. She's the best spy. She's the best assassin. She's got nothing that she's got everything and they got nothing. And so they're coming after her in this issue, or in this series, and in this issue, she finally gets some of her big, bad, I'm going to take you down moments, and that's all the back half of the book, so I don't want to show you any of them because you got to jump in for that action, and it moves so fast when we get to this issue. You're just going to have to read it. But I will tell you that, like I said, this is part of what they are calling the Underworld, and they do not have the checklist in the back anymore because we're all coming together now. So you're just going to have to see what happens as the world comes together. Speaking of people coming together in some cool ways, we've got Green Hornet and Miss Fury issue 3 from Dynamite. I'm really excited because Miss Fury hasn't been used in a long time, and so I'm glad we're taking some public domain characters from those like classic heroes and Crime Stoppers and putting them to use, and bringing her together with the Green Hornet is so cool. In this story so far, Miss Fury and Green Hornet have a mutual friend who has trained them in some of their fighting styles, and that person has gone missing and is believed to be either dead or in danger, and both the Green Hornet and Miss Fury have decided that the best way to figure it out is to team up, except Miss Fury kind of hates him because the Green Hornet is a big giant buffoon who thinks it's cool. I always hear Seth Rogen in my head too now when I think of the Green Hornet, and it just plays very well with this story, honestly and truthfully, because she's just like, okay, you need to get it together. You need to stop like with the acts. Like I get you're trying to be like the dumb playboy on the day-to-day, but like we need to do some detective work. Meanwhile, as usual, Kato is also mad at the Green Hornet because Britt is being an idiot, as usual. And so we've come to a point where they have been fighting a bad guy that's like a lesser villain who's trying to keep them separated from the storyline at hand. And Kato and Green Hornet are now suspects numbers 1 and 2 in the murder of the person that they are trying to investigate, as well as some other people. And they are going to have to put themselves in some dangerous situations to realize that everything Britt believes may be wrong. Shocker. Britt may be wrong.
Who's Britt?
The Green Hornet. And so, if you haven't jumped in, you definitely want to. It's a great jumping in point, honestly, for Green Hornet, if you've never read Green Hornet, to get to know him. It's written by Alex Segura and Henry Barajas, so if you're liking the Dick Tracy run right now, Alex Segura is on this as well. He loves his men in trench coats and fedoras, apparently. But it's also a great way to get to know Miss Fury as somebody that you probably haven't ever seen in your life, because she is from that golden age time period of comics. Mine is A Long Lonesome Grave, issue 2. This is from Oni Press, and I am so excited about this book. It is so dark and crazy, and a great story so far. This is about a man who just got himself out of prison, and he returns home to uncover the money that he had stolen in the crimes that he had previously done, and give it to the daughter that he has never known, because she grew up, she was a baby when he was put in prison, and she's grown up in the care of an uncle and a church in a small town that is very corrupt. And he's come to give her the money and is like, get out of this town, it's dangerous, you don't want to be here. Meanwhile, somebody put a curse on him, because these people who live in this town are full of all kinds of dark magic. And he's like, these people are putting a curse on me, these people are bad, they're the reason my wife's dead, don't let anybody tell you otherwise, and I'm going to take them all down. I am out for blood. And he is getting it left and right. This is a revenge story, pure and simple, and this man in every issue is using both magic and murder to get back at everybody who's ever wronged him. And we are going to see how that works out for him. He's like, I'm a marked man. Who knows how long I'll last, but I'm going to take everybody down with me to make sure my daughter is safe. And I can't wait to see how that plays out. Gotcha Man, Only One Earth, Issue 2 from Mad Cave and our Gotcha Man universe that they have built out there. This is a side quest. The Gotcha Man regular story is still separate from this. This is another adventure that they are on. And so this one's kind of focusing a little bit on Joe and Ken from the Gotcha Man, from the Science Ninja team. And in it, they are supposed to be working to protect a princess as she kind of christens a racetrack for her people. And at the race day, some very bad things happen. And Joe and the princess, Joe ends up trying to rescue the princess, and he and the princess end up underground, trapped in some caverns. And Ken, who is determined to believe that we never leave a man behind, has now used all of his skills to go out and go after Joe. Meanwhile, Galactor, knowing that this is happening, because they obviously set it all up, is going after some Science Ninja team people in another place so that they can get the information and technology they need while they feel like they are safe to do so. And so we've got the rest of the Science Ninja team trying to figure out how to battle Galactor on their own, while Joe and Ken and the princess are all trapped underground trying to figure out if there's a way out, while also discovering there may be some more to the past and history of this society than they were all prepared for as they discover what lies beneath the earth beneath them. It's a really fun adventure. It feels like watching a Saturday morning cartoon. And if you have young kids who don't know Gotcha Man but are looking for kind of a superhero story that's good for young kids, this one's definitely it, because it feels adult superhero-y, but it features kids, and the story stays, kid-friendly the whole time with some really great art. We've got Lenore, the Time War, issue 2 from Titan Comics. This is Matt's pick of the week. Woo-hoo. For sure. Matt's very excited Lenore is back, and you should be too. This is a fun thing. I've never read the original Lenore. Matt is a Lenore fanboy. If you didn't hear the woohoo, give it to him again, Matt. Woohoo! So, Matt has been very excited to have this back. It is just absolute fun. I told Matt this would be great for fans of I Heart Fairyland I Hate Fairyland if you've never read I Hate Fairyland. Definitely,
I say Invader Zim.
Definitely great for Invader Zim fans. This was coming out at the same time as Invader Zim originally, correct?
Huh?
Yeah. And so if you're fans...
The writer is friends with Yonan Vasquez.
Yonan Vasquez. This is Roman Dersh, who's like a friend of Invader Zim and Johnny the Homicidal creator, Yonan Vasquez. In case you couldn't hear Matt. So this is, at the end of the last volume, it appears that Lenore and all her friends have been separated into different pieces of time, and now they are slowly coming back together. And as they do that, we get some epically hilarious hijinks that ensue, very similar to the Invader Zim kind of fun jokes. Matt is laughing just watching this unfold, and I do want to show Matt's favorite part. First of all, you get a pin up in every issue, which is super cool, because you can, have a little Lenore themed poster up in your house. But Matt's favorite part of the whole issue that he had to read me out loud is they meet Thoth, the god of the time and space and the moon, and they have a roast battle because him and Lenore are trading zingers one right after another, and it is hilarious. Matt could barely get through it trying to read it out loud. So if you just need to laugh, Lenore is definitely that. And I think this issue is hilarious because they have one friend that got put back in time like 66 million years ago, and they're like, just follow this plan and we'll come back and we'll get to you. We'll meet you there. And it does not work out the way that the friend wants it to. But it definitely works out in the most hilarious way for all of us readers. So check it out. Honestly, I didn't read the last volume, and I'm definitely able to pick up and just get into it. It's just fun entertainment. It's not something that's like deep depths that you can never join in on. But if you want to read the old volumes, they are available in trade paperback. Are they out now?
I don't know if they're still in print.
Yeah, we had one or two.
That was the problem with the first series, is it got such a low print run by the end of it, and then they never collected the final arc of it.
So
they only had like the originals, but the originals were heavily printed in the early 2000s and sold at Hot Topic.
Yeah. Ooh, sold at Hot Topic. So there you go. If you're a Hot Topic kid and you don't read Lenore, you should.
That's what it is.
It's Hot Topic.
Yeah. Hello Kitty, Invader Zim, all that stuff.
Lenore. Yeah. All right, let's get more ridiculous. We've got Died Hard, issue 2 from Keen Spot. This comic, while it looks like it's hilarious, is rated mature for intense blood, violence, gore, and language. So we've got the Easter Bunny, essentially, doing crime and seeking some revenge in this issue. And so it gets pretty wild. He has been, in the first issue, we kind of set up the story that he was going to have to go on this, like, John Wick revenge kind of mission, and in this issue he is battling his way like up the levels of this crime situation, trying to take them all out. Seriously, all I have to say about this book is, if you think it's funny, if you think anthropomorphic animals doing crazy stuff is funny, you are absolutely going to love this. If you'd like to see an Easter Bunny be a psychotic, revenge-filled man taking down some evil, like, drug lords and crime bosses, then this is the book for you. Again, it is filled with intense violence, blood, gore, and language, and that kind of actually adds to all the hilariousness to it. It is, you know, there was that book a couple years ago that was the one-shot that was it a one-shot? Well, it was from Aftershock, and it was, like, yeah, the Mother F. Goose, and I thought that it was going to be a crime family of anthropomorphic people, and then it wasn't. Now you got it. Crime, boss, rabbit, anthropomorphic, hilarious crime story. We've got the 27 Run Crash issue 2 from Battle Quest Comics. This is a 3-part series, so it's worth jumping into for sure, because we're already almost there, and you should definitely read it because it's hilarious and fantastic. This is the story of a man who is supposed to be the pilot of a mech suit, and in the Great War that happened before, he kind of crashes out literally and wakes up and doesn't remember anything. And in issue 1, he's got his mech suit, he comes back up like to consciousness, and his mech suit comes back online and is like, I'm going to find one of those pages and show you these kinds of things. His mech suit is like filling him in on everything he needs to know. And it's so calm and gentle with him. And it's like, oh, it's so wonderful that you're back. You are the greatest pilot of all time. This is all the things that you need to know. And then like he wakes up and he's like, oh my gosh, okay. And he's like, but you need to learn them quickly because we're in the middle of an epic war. It's still going on. You're supposed to be fighting. And so the guy comes on and is like, okay, I'm ready to fight. I know what's going on. I'm kind of here. And the mech suit's like, oh, thank God. Now my programming will return to normal and I don't have to be nice to you anymore. And so now the mech suit kind of robot kind of talks to him like he's an idiot all the time and is like, could you get it together? We are in a war. You are an idiot. Why are you doing stupid things? And this is no exception, because our human idiot is like, I don't really remember what's going on and what happened to the world. I'd like to go outside of this suit. And he's like, no, pilot, that's dumb. There are giant monsters and the world is destroyed. And he's like, I'm going to do it anyway. And it ends in giant monsters following and chasing them and trying to kill them. And the robot mech suit being like, I told you, you're dumb. And so now they are having to work together once again to try to stop these giant monsters and also kind of still figure out, like, is there a way to save the world that we destroyed, that we don't deserve, according to the mech suit, which is true. Are we going to figure it out? Are we going to save the world? Are these guys even going to ever learn how to get along? I don't know, but our buddy Justin Zimmerman from Battle Quest is telling a fun story that's definitely great for people who are fans of things like what is that movie that everybody loves that has all of the kaiju robot fighting people? Pacific Rim. Ah, there you go. I knew I'd get there eventually. And other action stories like that. All right, we've got Bronze Faces issue 2 from Boom Studios. This has been both a wind down your weekend pick and a Santiago Saturday favorite at this point. So you definitely know that means you need to check it out. But this is the story of 3 people who were all raised in the same family, though they are not technically related, and by the same man, I should say, who was an artist who taught them all of the culture of their people and their specific tribe in Africa. And now that person has passed away, and all of their their family relics and the culture of their entire society has been sold off. And they're like, we have to do something about this. Like, we need to get it back. We're tired of seeing all of our culture be sold off to museums for other people to enjoy and make money off of. And so in this issue, we see them kind of start to do that and orchestrate their team of people who are going to be stealing back artifacts. And we've got a group of people who are on a train, and on this train, artifacts are transferred from one group to another. They're like high dollar value sold artifacts, and we've got this influencer who is happily selling off artifacts to make money and bragging about it on the internet, even though this is supposed to be a secret society of selling. And these people break onto this train, and we get a train heist story, which is super duper cool, and get to see these people kind of like, you know what, if you're going to talk about how you can sell our art, we're going to talk about how we can take it back and how this belongs to the people, and let's start a revolution and let's get this going. And I cannot wait to see how big this revolution goes, because art belongs to the people, and specifically to the people who created it and the world around them and the cultures that need to have that to speak for themselves and the lineage of themselves. And it is gonna be so good. It's already good too, as she said. You gotta check it out. I'm gonna take a drink. My Goblin Market mug is almost empty. I might have to switch to my actual wine glass. Let's do it.
What are we drinking?
We are drinking Septima Emblema, which is an Argentinian Malbec, which again, most Malbecs usually are Argentinian, but it is, I can actually smell it. Oh my gosh, are my sinuses clearing? Is the world returning to normal?
That rain.
It's so good. So good. All right, so I'm going to slide this back so I can talk about a couple of number ones before we get to Picks of the Week. We've got Assorted Crisis Events #1 from Image Comics. This is the book the internet was talking about all week long. You probably saw it everywhere. But you may not have known what it was about, because everybody's just been like, check this book out. So I'm here to tell you what it's actually about. And this is Dennis Camp, who did 20th Century Men, which was a huge story for us here. But this is all about basically the world being at a point in time where multiple apocalypses are happening all at the same time. It's like, it's just the world's kind of collapsing in on itself. And again, it's our fault and we did it to ourselves. But because of that, like, instead of getting like tornado warnings or things like that, you're actually getting like time rift warnings and crazy situations. And so this is actually going to be an anthology of different people kind of experiencing that. And in this issue, we are following a girl who really just wants to live her life. And she's like, the world is falling apart. I get that. But like, I still have to go to work today. And I still have to come home and like take my trash out. And like, yeah, I want to do what I can to help everybody in the world. But the world is like falling apart so fast, I don't really know what I can do. And so also she lost her parents to one of the crises. And so she's like, I'm also like suffering from it and I need to figure it out. Meanwhile, movie production studios have started just using the outside world to film their movies because it's so bad they don't even need to try to make destruction anymore. And so every morning when she comes outside her house, there is a different like disaster movie filming, and she never knows if it's really happening or if it's really just a movie, because there's so many random crises going on. And so I mean, everything, she comes from zombies to storms to like kaiju, like it's all there. And it's so normal that she just walks through it and like completely angers the people on set every time. She just wants to have a normal life. And you know what? When the world's falling apart, a lot of us really do just want that. We just want to find a way to have a normal life. And, you know, whether or not she gets it, you'll find out in this issue, because again, it's anthology. It's going to be different people's stories every time and where they are in the different points of the crisis. It's fantastically written. It's well drawn by Eric Zolotowski, who did House of L. It's colored by the fantastic Eisner winner Jordi Belair and lettered by the fantastic Eisner winner Hosanna Somalia-Lahu, who is my favorite letterer in all of comics. So it's an all-star team that you're gonna get a good book every time. You know it. That's why it was so hot all over the internet. And, you know, we understand. We understand what this girl's going through. We're all trying to do our best through everyday crisis coming our way. So, read it for that nice way to connect to somebody who gets you and feels you in the same way. All right, we've got the launch of a new publisher coming your way right now with AMP Comics. I'm really excited. We got to talk to the AMP people when we were at Comics Pro. We got to hear a lot of great things that they have coming, and they have some great things coming. But they launched with Prodigal Son, issue 1. Which we're really excited about. This is actually written by Martin Kove. So for you Karate Kid fans, that is somebody who was familiar to you because they are, from the Karate Kid world. But this is actually just nothing to do with that at all. This is, which I'm really excited because everybody's like, oh, Martin Kove's writing a book. He's from Karate Kid. And I was like, is it going to be a karate book? No, it's not. It's different. It is actually a Western revenge story, and I love those. So this is about a young boy who, his father has been killed, and he has decided to take the badge and call himself a U.S. Marshal. And he is following after the Grey Devils, who are the people who killed his family. And he is like, I'm going to take them out all by myself. Well, he comes across a haggard old man who is like, son, you're going to get yourself in a world of trouble. And he's like, I don't care. I'm going to do it. And he's like, all right, fine. You can ride with me because nobody will suspect that this kid is coming to kill people. So it'll kind of be like my safety net. And so like they go into this town and they're like, you can't have guns in this town. This is an army occupied town. We don't want that here. And he's like, fine, check me. And like he thought, they do not check the kid. But what happens is the kid isn't ready for the responsibility of actually being a killer just yet. And so he is going to be trained in the ways of his revenge tactics that he needs to get. But there is something about this man that is a little suspicious. And we know that he's got his own past and his own reasons for wanting to go after these Grey Devils. And we kind of can start hypothesizing about what those ways might be as we read it. But you're going to have to kind of read along to find out. This is a great first issue. This was actually a huge pickup for us this week. A lot of people came in looking for it, which I'm really excited for AMP launching a great first title for them. I'm really excited, and I can't wait to see where this story goes and where AMP is going to go, because I think we're going to see some good books coming out from them in the future, and great quality paper stock already. So always good when like the new publishers have like this great paper quality. Welcome to Twilight, issue 1. This is from Dark Horse and the World of Minor Threats. You do not have to have read Minor Threats to read this book and understand what's going on. It's just giving us worlds of weird superheroes and villains that just need to, just aren't good at anything, really. And so in this world, Matt Fraction and Mike Allred actually did this book. So all-star team working in the world that Patton Oswalt and Jordan Blum created. It's just an all-star lineup right there. But this is about a guy who was born with angel wings on his back, but he can't actually fly because they just don't work that way. And so the only thing he could do is kind of go to Hollywood. And so he kind of worked on a show that was essentially like Miami Vice his whole life. And now he's old and it's, he's retired, and now he just kind of rides the fame of what he did back when he was the winged man on the show. Well, one day he meets this beautiful woman and she's like, I just need to get in the water. And he's like, I have a jacuzzi in my hotel suite. Like, I can get you in the water. Total playboy move, trying to get her in. He wakes up covered in blood and blood everywhere. And the woman is nowhere to be found. And he's like, oh my God, did I kill this woman? Did this woman kill somebody? What happened? He has to call his agent and get help. Turns out the woman is the wife of a big giant mobster who has a man on his face. It's so weird. The world of Minor Threats is so weird, and I kind of love it. And he's like, I have to save this woman. She hates her husband. She hates this situation. I got to get her out of here. And so he's like determined to break this woman free. And it doesn't go well, but it's so cute because he starts envisioning like this perfect movie star romance. Meanwhile, the production studio comes and they're like, hey, we want to relaunch The Winged Man. And he's like, yes, this is my time. And they're like, could you be a consultant? Because we hired a young hot actor. And he's like, everything in this world is terrible. And we just kind of get to see that play out for him. Again, Mike Allred art, Matt Fraction story. You're all right here in this one issue. It's weird. It's great. It's hilarious. It's got like this strange heart that you didn't expect to have. And most everybody in the world of minor threats is terrible because they're all, again, like subpar villains. And so it's always nice to see how these like terrible people, learn a lesson. And this is no exception. So check it out. All right, we've got 3 picks of the week as usual. That's how it works. There are 3 of them. And the first one is going to be Napalm Lullaby, issue 9 from Image Comics, and our Batastic imprint of the year, last year, Giant Generator, which is Rick Remender's imprint, and this is Rick Remender's book. And this book is so fantastic. I don't think enough people in this world are reading it, and every time I meet people who are, we spend forever gushing about how good this book is. I randomly, in a Discord forum, went off on how great this book was with a guy the other day. It was so good. This is basically a world where we've kind of figured out, like, they made this man a god, essentially, built up an entire world around this religion, and 2 young people who had these cool powers were like, we have to stop people believing in this religion, everything is wrong, we're the only ones that stand against them, and they're siblings, and they use their powers to take them down. Well, we saw that in Volume 1, and now in Volume 2, we've been following their story in a different way. Like, we've been following Sam, the brother, who seems to be in this world where everything's completely different. Nothing is really wrong, and yet everything is wrong in this world. And in this issue, we flash back to Sam and his sister being teenagers and see them go see Return of the Jedi. And then we see their dad kind of poisoning the sister and forcing her to take pills that are going to shape her into this person. And we've seen Sam over and over again kind of be told that, like, he's living in a dream world, and he's got to wake up and he's got to find out what happened after what him and his sister accomplished. And in this issue, we finally get to see that. Or do we? Because you know what? I have no idea what's real in this book anymore. I don't know where we are. Sam's our narrator. He has no idea where he is. I don't know what's real. I don't know who the bad guy is anymore. I don't know who the good guys are. I assume Sam's the good guy, but the narrative could shift at any moment. And it's kind of like reality in that we build up these worlds and we're like, we have to take down the bad people. But then it's like, did we do it? Because then the next person comes along and they're also bad, and it's a different kind of bad, and it's like, wait, were we the bad guys the whole time? What is going on? Rick Remender has so much to say and so much to build out in this world, and it is just only getting bigger and bigger, and this story is so good, and the world is crazy, and you have to read it. You need to get Volume 1, that first arc, and dive into the story, and I need to know who is the bad guy, because it's the world is changing, and I don't know what's going on. And then we've got Dark Pyramid #1 from Mad Cave, also from Paul Tobin, which is why it's here. Paul Tobin returning to horror, which I love a Paul Tobin horror book. If you need a good horror writer, this is somebody to lean on, and this is going to be another one of those crazy stories he builds. It starts out with a guy who is essentially like an influencer for hiking and finding like undiscovered places, and he's on an excursion in climbing Denali, the mountain, and he is while he's there, he discovers like this secret place, and suddenly his camera goes blank, and people all across the world are like, oh my god, what happened to Hookie? Like, where is he? Meanwhile, his girlfriend's watching it, and she's like, oh my gosh, like, where is he? He's not checking in. Like, he's not answering his phone. He's not answering his sat phone. Like, he's not come back up. So she's like, it's up to me to go find him. So she goes out to this same place and is like trying to find him, and there's nobody will help her at the police station, and she's documenting everything too on social media, just like he is. And she's like, I can't find him. And then she goes like, okay, I'll just find a place to stay. Well, she tries to find a place to stay, and all of the places are full because all of his followers on the internet have been like, we're going to save Hookie. So they've come out to this place to try to start climbing the mountain to look for her. Well, the police come up to her, and they're like, hey, never mind. We've got this cabin. You can go stay there. And so she goes to stay in this cabin, and I want you to see this one panel where she's sleeping in this cabin that the police told her would be perfectly safe, and there's like this creepy like woman like standing over her. And as she's standing there, like, or as this person is watching her sleep, she's woken up to find out that there is something dark and mysterious coming. And I'm not going to show you because the second, like that last quarter, like the last third of the book is all filled into it. There is something deep and dark under the mountain, and the townspeople seem to know about it. The police are definitely in on it. Hooky might not have gone missing. Bad things are coming. It's going to get crazy in ways that only Paul Tobin can really get us into. And I know Matt's going to read that because Paul Tobin. So just throw that your way. All right. Lastly, we've got The Hive, issue 2. This is from Image Comics. When issue 1 came out, I was like, this is a really interesting concept. I want to see where it goes. And now with issue 2, I'm like, this is a really interesting concept. This is going somewhere. This is all about basically a world where people are kind of in what they consider to be hives. And it's kind of like secret societies, except it's literally functioned like bees, because basically we all hear, we hear through vibrations, and if you can speak with the right vibration, you can basically control people's minds. And so these people have learned how to do that. And as with all hives, there is always a queen. And the queen of this hive's name is Shay. And Shay has been running these people and kind of running like a crime operation through it. And she's been keeping everything in line. She's got, in this one, we learn about one of the worker bees who's basically like a guard bee. And he's been kind of trying to keep everything together. Well, a mysterious person showed up, and it turns out he might have some really interesting ties to Shay. And he's kind of like the only person that can stand against their mind control that they're able to do. And they're like, this is really weird. Like, who are you? So they bring her to the queen to figure out who he is. And we learn some very big things in there. Meanwhile, there's the people who are trying to skip out and start their own hive because they don't want to be a part of that. But dude, bees, you can't go off on your own. That's not how being a bee works. And Shay keeps trying to tell them that. And so every time they try to rob a train or a truck or anything to get money to go off on their own, it's already been taken over before then. And some mysterious things are happening, and they're all kinds of crime, family politics, mind control, be innuendos and story metaphors and stuff. It's really layered and really building out a really interesting world, and I cannot wait to see is there going to be something with this new stranger that can disrupt this entire world, and is our queen going to die? And if she does, what happens to everybody else? Do they want out? Does anybody really want out? We'll find out as the hive continues. All right, that's what we got that we're going to go through. I'm going to show you a couple more that are in stock. The first one is The Death of Copra, issue 3, from Michael Fife. And I'm just going to open this up so you can see. This art is really, really great. I didn't read the original Copra story, but I've been reading this. And while I'm a little lost, because I definitely need that, I just read it because the art is so cool. So definitely check that out, especially if you did read the original. We've got Power Man Timeless, issue 2. We've got the little verses going on. We've got Nick Fury versus Fing Fang Boom. This is a one-shot. Iron Man issue 6 is out, and this does tie into your One World Under Doom. Uncanny X-Men issue 11, which ties into your X-Men Manhunt. And on that note, you are almost done. This is the first one. Sorry, that is not the one that came out this week. The one that came out this week was X Factor. That's where we are. And X-Men 13, not Uncanny. I grabbed the wrong one, but I grabbed one because I wanted to show you that the X-Man Hunt is coming to an end. It was a 7-part series, and they just kind of went over a couple different ones. Helverine issue 4. Sabretooth, The Dead Don't Talk, also hit issue 4. Action Comics is at issue 1084. We've got Star Wars, The Legacy of Vader, issue 2. Green Lantern Corps, issue 2 as well. Deadpool has hit issue 12. DC vs. Vampires World War Z, issue 7. That is flying. Oh my gosh. We've got Black Lightning, issue 5. Dark Patterns from the Batman World, issue 4. Batman and Robin, issue 19. It is Women's History Month, and so in honor of International Women's Day, DC did a bunch of awesome covers over the course of this month, honestly, from Jenny Frison. And look at this Mira. Look at her. Isn't she beautiful? Oh my God, I love this. It is so gorgeous. I know this is gotta be ours. And then Absolute Superman number 5 hitting the shelves this week. Alien, what is the name of this? Alien Paradiso issue 4. Paradiso. Is that an alien term?
No, it's a sci-fi term.
What does it mean in sci-fi world?
Paradise, I believe.
Oh, well, that's just what that means. Okay. I thought there was like a specific sci-fi reference that I didn't get. I just like that cover. Did you see how dope that cover was? Everybody, look at that. That's so cool. And then we've got a lot of trades and graphic novels came out this week. One of which is Damaged People. Damien Connolly and Alien Books. This is all 4 issues. This was so good. If you did not read this anthology series, you need to read it. Also, speaking of like dope art and cool things, this one as well. It's just stories about people who are just dealing with everything that is internally wrong with them and externally wrong with the world. Seriously, buy this book.
Paradiso means heaven.
Heaven.
According to the Cambridge Dictionary.
There you go. Duck and Cover, also the full story. Also a book you have to pick up. This was so many cool things all at one time. That actually the blurb on the back says one part American Graffiti, another part Mad Max, which is actually a really great way to describe this. But this is the 1950s, and a bunch of kids, teenagers who are dealing with all kinds of drama within themselves, but also Cold War nightmares, suddenly find themselves under attack. But it is not the people that we would have expected to attack us. It is actually an alien invasion, and the whole thing is also told in like movie references, because the main narrator is obsessed with film, and I love the way Scott Snyder put that story together. Is so cool. We've got volume 2 of Feral out this week. This is the Crazy Cat Lady, essentially the governor kind of story if you were going in your Walking Dead world. Shout out to our Feral team. We love our buddies who make this book. We've got a graphic novel from Oni Press called El Fuego, which is about an asteroid on a collision course with the Earth, and the people who are trying to figure out the ways to save us and all of the bad things that happen in the process. There are a couple of Thunderbolts volumes. With Thunderbolts coming up, they are actually making these cool collections, essentially epic collections for some of the characters who will be featured. This is first and foremost an epic collection for Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier. So it's going to have Captain America number 6 from 2004, aka the first appearance of Winter Soldier, as well as 8 and 9 and 11 to 14 of that Brubaker run. It's got Winter Soldier, The Bitter March 1 through 5, Winter Soldier from 2018, 1 through 5, and so many, and I think that might be all the stories, but it's a great way to get to know Bucky, who he is as the Winter Soldier. You're not going to get like the past Bucky Barnes, you're going to get Winter Soldier Bucky Barnes as the way to do it. And then, like I said, there's also the Yelena Belova, which is going to collect Black Widow 1999, 1 through 3, Black Widow 2001, 1 through 3, Widowmaker's Red Guardian and Yelena Belova, Winter Guard 1 through 4, and Black Widow from 2027 through 10, which was that Kelly Thompson run of Black Widow. This is a great compilation for Yelena as well. You are going to want those if you want to know those characters before Thunderbolts comes out this summer. We also got a Drawn and Quarterly new story, and this is Holy Lacrimony, and it is Jackie is the saddest living person in the entire world, at least according to the mysterious team of alien abductors that take Jackie in. It is ridiculous and wonderful in the way that all Drawn and Quarterly stories are. You definitely want to check that out. And then 7 Years in Darkness, Year 1, finally collected in a trade paperback. This is going to have all of the issues of Year 1, as well as, Matt, you said that the Schmear Worm is in here as well. So this will catch you up to what is going on. And if you've never seen a Joseph Schmock book, do yourself a favor and just open one, because they are absolutely fantastically gorgeous. This is essentially what an adult Harry Potter story would look like. 72 children are taken into the Academy of Black Magic. Only 7 of them will come out to see the light of day and run the magical world from there forward. Absolutely have to get that book. Again, we have a lot of really cool things coming up at Bat City this week. Story Spelunkers on Saturday, Ladies and Non-Binary Nerd Night on Thursday at 8 p.m. But there are some really big events coming up soon. Like I said earlier, April 5th, we will be downtown at the Bradenton Art and Music Festival. Free Comic Book Day is coming up May 3rd. We have our Academic Avengers Day, April 19th, for families to come and play some games and learn some cool stuff. There is a lot. You're going to check our calendar. Our April and May events are all going to load into that calendar probably this week, because there's so many big ones. And while I'm giving doing shoutouts, I want to give a huge shout out to all of the people who help put on the Baxter Angola Festival every year. Adrian, Santiago, and myself got to go and check it out today and learn all about the Angolan people who used to settle right here at Manatee Mineral Springs, right here on the waterfront here in Bradenton. They were an entire settlement in Bradenton, and there is going to be some really cool ways that Bat City is a part of helping tell that history even more in the coming months, and you'll hear some announcements coming up about that soon. But thank you so much to all of them for welcoming us to the festival and including us in the experiences today. It was fantastic, and I'm going to be eating some delicious snacks and desserts for a very long time because I was loaded up with some great food today. So thank you to everybody. Thanks again to our friends at Goblin Market in Chicago for this awesome mug. And again, if you're up in Chicago, this is definitely a store that you need to check out. And if you're up in Chicago right now, take some Advil and drink lots of Pedialyte, and happy St. Patrick's Day, because you're gonna need that to get through the next couple of days in Chicago for sure.
If they can get anywhere because of the 3 feet of snow that they got today.
They did have 3 feet of snow today. Yeah, I have some friends that were in Chicago just for St. Patrick's Day, and hopefully they are still warm enough. Again, we drank Septima Emblema today, an Argentinian Malbec. It has been absolutely delicious, especially in my Goblin Market mug. We will see you this Wednesday for a new comic book day when tons more books will come out. If we don't see you then, we'll of course see you here Sunday night at 9 p.m. to help you wind down your weekend. As always, I'm Shannon, aka Small Press Shann, here to get you excited about a bunch of books. And until I see you, happy reading, everyone. Cheers.